In this lesson, you will load a collection of materials into the drawing and assign them to specific layers. Open the 3D House 3 project file, and in the 3D Basics workspace, choose the Render tab. In the Materials panel, click the Materials browser. This has a list of materials in the Autodesk library. Each one of these categories can be clicked on, and you can scroll through the materials, and some of the categories have subcategories, like fabric leather. Up here we have a list of the materials that are currently loaded into the drawing, and by default there's only one, called the global material. Let's go ahead and make a selection of materials and load them into the drawing in anticipation of eventually creating a rendering of this 3D model. Click on Creased Black, and you'll see two different icons appear: Add Material to Document, or Add Material to Document and Display in Editor. Let's try this second option. That opens up the separate Materials Editor palette, which gives you a preview of the image that's being assigned to this material. The material is a description of the surface of the solid object or surface object that you've modeled in AutoCAD. And we will use this material description in conjunction with light to ultimately create a rendering or photorealistic view of the space. So let's go ahead and add additional materials in anticipation of all of the different kinds of surfaces we have in this project. Let's go to Flooring, Tile, and add Terracotta. This time I'll click Add Material to Document, and it won't open up the editor, but I can see that is loaded right here in this list. Next, go to Flooring Wood and select one of the wood materials. Feel free to make your own selections. I'm just going to select my own choices here. Perhaps I'll use a maple of some kind. Here's a silver maple brown. I'll use that for the hardwood floor. We also need some glass. Just some clear glass will do. We will need some brick for the brick wall behind the wood stove here. I'll use this pattern, add it to the document, and then scroll down. Under metal, we'll need some shiny metal for the frames of this sofa and coffee table and armchair. I don't want it to be exactly chrome, but I want it to be reflective. I'll use this satin metal. Metallic paint we'll need for the wood stove itself. I'll use a black, not glossy, but satin. Note that there's a paint category, but there's also, more specifically, a wall paint category. Let's use that, and we can choose from glossy or matte. I'll use a matte color. For the walls, I'll choose beige. And for the ceilings, I'll use cool white. I'll also select a glossy paint for the vinyl windows. That will be cool white. We can choose perhaps a granite countertop, gray speckled. And I'm sure I haven't thought of everything, but that's okay. I'll close the browser, expand the Materials slide out, and choose Attach by Layer. This opens up a dialog box listing all of the materials that I just loaded, and over here, all of the layers. You make an assignment by dragging a material across the dialog box and dropping it in this box. If you want to remove that material, you can click here. So I'll just go ahead and drag certain materials across and assign them to layers. I'd like a lighter wood for the cabinets, so I'll go ahead and click OK and go back to the browser and look for another wood. I'll use this material here, add it to the document, and then go back and attach by layer. So this process is really a lot of back and forth, looking for a material and then bringing it in here and assigning it to your layer. I'll just keep going, assigning things. And of course, after you make a test rendering, you can change your mind and come back in here and change a material assignment. So it's not exactly carved in stone, it's very flexible. You can keep working at this until you create the look that you want in the space. I'll just keep going. Equipment, this is going to be the wood stove. I need a satin black paint for that. Also the regular stove in the kitchen, I'll use that same material. Oh, I'm sorry, the wood stove has a separate layer, so let's use that. Equipment refers to the refrigerator, I believe. Let's use a cool white on that. The kitchen floor needs a material. So I'll go back over here and look at the flooring category. Let's look for tile. How about this square brown material? We'll try that. Go back, attach by layer. There's the material, and there's the layer, so drag across. The seat frame is going to be that metal. I think that was satin black here. The seat cushion will be that leather, creased black. The table legs will be that satin black metal again. The glass is clear. The stool will be a wood. Downlights are cool white. The counter is the granite, gray speckled. The sink is some kind of metal. The A-walls layer I'm going to ignore because that's a two-dimensional layer. It won't take a material anyway. The 3D walls layer needs the beige material. And there, I think I've completed the material assignments. I'll click OK, close the materials browser, and let's look through one of the cameras. Type V, enter, double-click on View from Kitchen, OK, and then change the visual style to realistic. This will give you a rough preview of what the materials look like on screen. So in this lesson, you learned how to select materials from a library and load them into the current drawing. You then assigned these materials to the layers of the model and previewed them on screen.